So take a look at this. A pile of splintered pallets, some sawdust, demolition debris, basically trash, right? Well, what if I told you we could turn this into a legally verified, super valuable financial asset? Today, we're going to break down the incredible technology that makes this happen, creating what's pretty much a brand new asset class out of industrial waste. This is the big question, isn't it? How do you do it? It sounds a lot like alchemy, turning lead into gold. But the secret isn't magic. It's actually a very precise formula that combines intense geopolitical pressure, super strict environmental laws, and some seriously clever software. And it all starts, believe it or not, with geopolitics. Okay, so before we get into the really cool tech, you have to understand the problem it was built to solve. And this whole story kicks off with a high-stakes conflict playing out every single day at the US-Canada border. You could call it a modern-day trash war. I mean, the scale of this is just wild. Every year, 100,000 trucks carry 3.46 million tons of municipal waste from Ontario, Canada, right across the border into Michigan. For decades, this was just the cheap and easy way for Ontario to deal with its landfill problem. But then political pressure started building to stop the flow, and suddenly you have an economic crisis that demanded a totally radical new solution. And here's where it gets really interesting. That crisis forced a whole new way of thinking, and it's all governed by incredibly strict laws, like this one, Ontario Regulation 347. This law basically defines the razor-thin line between what's considered clean wood and what's legally hazardous waste. The key number is 2.5 milligrams per liter for arsenic. If a piece of wood leaches more than that, usually because it's been pressure treated, it is legally classified as toxic. Simple as that. But this quote really highlights the chaos of the real world. Right? A law on paper is one thing, but trying to enforce it on a muddy, fast-paced construction site, that's a whole different ballgame. An AI might flag a board with a green tint. So, is that just harmless mold? Or is it that pressure-treated wood full of arsenic? If you get it wrong, you're talking about millions in damaged equipment and massive fines. This is exactly the kind of friction the old system just couldn't handle. And that friction, that chaos, is exactly what the company 905 Wood decided to solve. But they didn't go and build a better truck or a bigger sorting facility. Nope. They built an information system. They built the Digital Refinery. So what on earth is a digital refinery? Well, it's not a physical building with smokestacks, I can tell you that. It's an intelligent software stack. Its entire job is to take this chaotic, messy stream of wood waste and process it digitally, transforming it into a standardized, predictable, and ultra-pure industrial asset. The best way to think of it is like a piece of middleware, or as the source documents call it, a sentient bridge. It's a fantastic term, because on one side of the bridge, you've got the total chaos of a construction site. And on the other, you have these industrial buyers who are super picky and need feedstock with less than 1% contamination. The digital refinery is the intelligence in the middle that connects these two worlds and absolutely guarantees that quality. So, how does this bridge actually work? What makes it tick? Let's dive in and break down the tech stack that literally creates certainty out of chaos. The whole process flows through 4 main stages. First, there's an automated request for quote, or RFQ, where an AI scans the initial photos of a woodpile to see if it even qualifies. Second, a driver uses a smartphone app for on-site verification right at the source, confirming the material. Third, that wood goes to a central hub for some deep chemical validation using advanced sensors. And finally, the system automates all the crazy complex legal paperwork that's required. Now, what's so cool about this is the hardware they chose. You'd think they'd use some expensive, rugged industrial scanner, right? Nope. They use a standard off-the-shelf Google Pixel phone. The magic is in its powerful on-device AI chip, which can run these really complex models directly on the phone. No cloud connection needed. It's basically a distributed supercomputer right there in the driver's pocket. Perfect for a construction site. The software design is also just genius. It uses something they call hostile UI. So instead of a simple tap on the screen, a driver has to physically press and hold their thumb on the screen for 3 full seconds to certify a load. This creates what they call intelligent friction. It's a deliberate, undeniable action that proves intent and serves as a legally binding digital signature. You can't do it by accident. But all this tech, the AI, the sensors, that clever UI, it's not just about staying on the right side of the law. It's about completely flipping the economics of waste on its head, turning what used to be a liability into a major source of revenue. I mean, just look at this paradigm shift. In the old model, wood waste was a liability. It was something you literally paid money to get rid of. With the digital refinery model, that exact same wood becomes a verifiable asset. It doesn't just create a new revenue stream from selling the material, it also generates incredibly valuable carbon credits. And here is the final payout. Because the system can prove with cryptographic certainty that the wood is clean, it can be used in a process called pyrolysis. This is a high heat treatment that doesn't just burn the wood, it chemically changes it, locking its carbon into a stable, solid form called biochar. This proven act of removing carbon from the atmosphere generates a highly sought-after carbon dioxide removal certificate, or COC. And the market value for one of these rigorously verified certificates? A stunning $350 per ton. So you have this entire complex system, from the AI on the phone to the advanced sensors in the hub, and it all funnels down to produce one final critical product. And it's not a physical good, it's a document so robust, so airtight, that it's been called the bulletproof PDF. This document is the key that unlocks all that value. But to satisfy auditors and to get across international borders, it has to contain 9 incredibly specific data points that are required by trade law. We're talking things like harmonized tariff classifications and detailed origin criteria. Manually, it would be an administrative nightmare, but the system automates it flawlessly. But the way they presented this document, that's a true masterclass in pragmatic design. They didn't create some sleek, modern, beautiful report. They did the exact opposite, and they did it for a very good reason. They understood the harsh, real-world environment where this document actually has to live and work. The result is what's called a brutalist design. It's stark. It's high contrast black and white with these massive, blocky fonts. And why? Because it's designed to be perfectly readable after being printed on a cheap office printer, shoved through an ancient fax machine, and then glanced at by a border agent in the dark cab of a truck. It is not pretty. It is legal armor. And this really brings us to the final big thought. The digital refinery isn't just about wood. It's a whole new way of seeing the world. It's a blueprint for a true circular economy. It proves that with the right technology and the right rules, the line between worthless trash and a valuable resource is way thinner than we ever imagined. It really makes you wonder, what else are we throwing away?